Bold TV.
Welcome to another beautiful episode of Bold TV. Yeah. Good morning to all of us amazing people out there, especially our online viewers who always, engage when we have programs like this. We appreciate you, and we have come to you again with value, as always. Yeah, so Bold TV is powered by Bold Heart Initiative, a network of beautiful, outstanding ladies with disability. Yeah, so we come your way again, and it's every Saturday by 10:30 a.m. and we bring you only value. So if you love what we're doing here and you appreciate it, please use the love reaction button and also drop in the comments. Let's get to know how you feel about our conversations here, our discussions here. So before we go on to the topic of discussion today, we are going to be introducing ourselves. We have amazing women here who are going to be introducing themselves. Let's get to meet us and get to have this conversation on this topic, embracing change and adaptability as persons with disability. All right, so let's go on to introduce ourselves. Thank you. Over to you, Osaki.
Hello, good morning, ladies. Good morning, online audience. I remain Osaki Teresa George Ritaria. I reside in Port Harcourt, One, River State. I'm a freelancer, I'm a farmer. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you very much. Also,
You're welcome. Okay, you're welcome. All right, over to you, Afyong. Let's get to meet you.
All right, good morning, beautiful people out there. This is Afyong Exum. I'm a co-host on Bold TV. I'm a member of Bold Heart Initiative. I live and work as a lab scientist in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, and I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, and to our special guest for today's program, Faith. Let's get to meet you.
Thank you very much. My name is Faith Hilasen Yasa. I'm from Benue State. I reside in Makurdi. I'm a founder of Change and Disabilities Initiative. I'm also a politician. I'm also a disability advocate, Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome, our politician. All right. So it's good to have you all here. I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Coach Oge Passion. I'm a network marketing professional. I'm actually an above me and PC. Yes, and I am currently in Benue State, Nigeria. So you are all welcome once again to Bold TV. And today we shall be looking at the topic, embracing change and adaptability as persons with disability. These things happen to us, right? We all have our stories. Like one of my Facebook friends, a person with disability, would always say at the early years when I had disability, I would always see her talk about her journey to Damascus. That's how she talked about her story. Her journey to Damascus actually meant that things changed at the course of her movement, all right, at the course of her life. Things changed, just like the story of Saul and then Paul. Yes. So we all have that story, and it's a mixed feeling, when we talk about it. Yes, things change, but our ability to adapt over the years and make life more meaningful is what makes us who we are. Because the fact is that there is no perfect human. At the course of life, we always go through ups and downs. But how do you balance this thing? How do you actually live your life? So we are discussing embracing change and adaptability as persons with disability. Yes, the ability to embrace change, not to resist it, is going to determine whether you're going to grow, your level of growth, or stagnation. Okay, so we are going to be looking at if there is actually a correlation between growth and adaptability. Over to you, Osaki.
Oh, thank you very much, Chris. Yes, there's a link between adaptability and changes and adaptability, because I would say so. All through my life, I've lived with disability, and there's no world, there's no planet kept for persons with disabilities. So for us to cope, or for me to cope inside planet Earth, I need to adapt. And changes drives adaptability, and adaptability enables changes. So as a lady with disability, I need to have a ways of getting success Now, this area where we come in with disability to adapt, it's not like you have to achieve the same thing, like the same success goal, but in a different way. The way you say 2 plus 2. Okay, let's say 4 plus 4 is 8. Now, that's the number everybody knows. But with disability, you say 4 plus 6 plus 2 is still 8. So in a different way, still get the same success, but a different way of how to cope with it. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the fact is that change is inevitable. All right, change is inevitable. There is nothing we can do about it. But growth is optional. Yes. So if people are saying 2 plus 2 has to be 4, there is no other way around it. No, there are options. You can decide to come at it from your own perspective. That's one thing that disability, why we are unique as people with disability. And change is constant in life. And if we decide to resist it, it prolongs our struggle. So we need to accept it. We accept it, we look for other ways. We think differently. So instead of people saying you are disabled, you are differently able, because you know that 2 plus 2 is 4. But you can come at it as 1 plus 3 is 4. Or 5 minus 1 is 4. What you want is the answer. We will give it to you. Results. Yes. Okay. So let's move on to Afyong. What do you think about this correlation?
As far as life is concerned, change, as they say, is the only constant thing.
Yeah.
Without change, there is no growth. Without change, there is no forward movement. So change is what propels us forward. Adaptability is usually a response to change. Adaptability is a response to change. Inability to respond to change is the trigger for adaptability. So the two go hand in hand. The only reason why somebody will not grow is if they are not responding to change. So if change happens and you're not responding to it, then you're not going anywhere. You are stuck in a particular place. Imagine a child eating food, and that food, the nutrients get into the body, and the cells respond and begin to, grow and increase in number. If that child does not show any growth, is not growing, increasing in height or in weight or in some form to show that what they are taking in the inputs is actually having an impact, then there's something wrong. That's when the parents will be worried. But if they notice that the baby that once took milk can now swallow a bar, and they are noticing that one day the baby starts taking steps, that means change is happening and that baby is responding to the change. So change and adaptability go hand in hand, and especially in the journey of disability. For you to be able to move forward and not remain where you are, you need to adapt. You need to adjust to that change. Adaptability simply means adjusting to the change, doing things differently to achieve whatever goal it is you have, considering your new reality.
Yeah.
Simple.
Wow. I like that perspective. Yes, it's amazing. The truth is, if you are able to adapt, especially as a person with disability, to the changes that have come, your life becomes interesting. You understand? Your life, because people have known those with that PWD or disabled, as we term it, disabled, as people that their life is complex, complicated, and then you are now adapting. You're resilient, you're positive, ever smiling, passionate, going about life. Oh, you're going to not only inspire people with disability, but of course the general world, because we all have a disability. It's just that some people's own are not obvious. So don't feel bad that yours is obvious. Just live your life and impact life. Yes. So thank you so much for that sharing, Afyong. Over to you, Faith. You're going to be sharing with us. Are there certain things or changes that at the early stages of your disability you notice? What changes? What actually happened to you? What changed? Like what changed?
Thank you very much. A whole lot changed. I think I'm loving the answers here so far. But then, as a young girl who acquired disability at the age of 6, what suddenly changed was everybody disappeared. My friends disappeared. So something new happened to me, like, why is everybody running? Then it starts from the parents. They start looking at you differently. Can she do it? Can she not do it? And that is where I was going to add. After hearing from all the people the women that have spoken, I wanted to add that. And then these changes and adaptability is in stages. When you acquire disability at a young stage, at a young age, you will discover that the change that occurred to you at that time is different from when you are now in secondary school as a young girl with disability. You have to also, at this point, adapt, studying with little grown-up girls, beginning to search yourself on how you could be able to fix pads, because already you have become a full woman. Yes. In the secondary school where you have a whole lot of changes to adapt to. People that come close to you, people that don't want to come close to you. In secondary school, it's a university, it's a different ball game. That is where lecturers, friends, associates look at you differently. And then these are the points where you begin to think of how to adapt and make a change in this particular aspect. And then gradually you now found yourself into the larger society after school. And this is where you need a whole lot of adjustments to be able to strive to the top, because the below is very crowded and discriminating. And the change at the below and the adjustment at the below is not as high as the one on the top, which is the larger society. So the changes comes in different ways. If you acquire disability at a younger age, you understand that it's different ballgame. It's not the same. Thank you.
Okay. Wow. I love this perspective. I never thought of it in these stages you're talking about. I actually acquired mine after I was done with tertiary institutions, like 4 months after NYSC. So all I know is that I am an amputee. So I was looking at it that amputees are amputees, do you understand? But with this perspective you're going now, there are certain things you'll be experiencing. Like if it happens when you are still a baby, a child, when you get to a point in time when you start seeing your period, your menses and all that, your body system is changing, you understand, puberty, it becomes a different ball game. Then when you get into, say, tertiary institutions, another different ball game. So it's in levels, actually. It's in levels. And you will see these things in levels from different areas of life, not just that you are an amputee. You understand? You will face things, different things like every other person faces, but it's in a different perspective, because you are a person with disability. And like, I must commend you. It's not easy from childhood. That, I don't know, there is this impression impact is going to have on you, you understand? Because you start facing this discrimination from a tender age. You understand? Not everybody will be able to face these things and still remain positive. Some people self may be abused, you understand? Some may be abused in the process. So it's not really easy. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you. Okay, so I don't know, Osaki, would you want to share with us your own experience?
All right, thank you very much. Okay. I think I'll correlate what Faith said. Yes, at this stage of life, because I had mine as a baby. So imagine as a baby all through your life. One that I was struggling with, can I ever survive it? Can I ever be independent? Because the fear of someone will always be there, like someone must be your watchdog or something. Because that was my greatest fear. That will I ever be a woman one day? Can I have a house of my own? Can I get a job? Will I get to graduate? All of that. So the changes comes not so smooth, but they come. Like my primary school life, I think fortunately I lived in where there are other children that had disabilities. So at that cadre, it was sweet. We are all children and they pampered us. But going to secondary school, it was never, the environment was not even the same at the same time. Primary school was an inclusive school. And it was for persons with disability, physical disabilities, like polio and the rest. It was okay. But in secondary school, no, it was a school without disability. So that was tough. The staircase, the teachers, everybody. You have to manipulate your own way of surviving. Like I remember one of those days, because we couldn't use the bathroom. We had to start bathing outside. When I say outside, we have to bathe like 30 minutes before other girls would wake up when I was in boarding house. So imagine the bed was cold, it was not conducive. You were sitting down on the bare floor where students will march and pass. That was not funny at all. So at that time, we had to adjust. Then get to the university. University was a different ball game, hostel and all the rest. So the only time I think I really got into the coping was after my stages of schooling. And I got a job. And I had a life, and I had independence, and I had more service stories, and I coped. So as an adult, I had different stages of preparation to be this woman I want to be.
Wow. Wow, if you are the real VIP though, because people started at a tender age experiencing this thing, it's not easy. Even when I saw that of Florence, 35 years, and for me, I'm actually 35 years old, so it's strong, and I was like, being a person with disability, 35 years, she's strong. She's really strong. So it's not easy actually. At different stages, we get to face different things. It's not really easy, but by God's grace and our resilience and support here and there from family, from friends and the society, we keep moving and creating impact. All right, Afia, please, will you want to share with us briefly about your own experience?
Okay, let me just be brief because I think our time is fast spent. So I just wanted to come from the perspective of someone who, how do I say it? Disability was somehow imposed on me. We crashed on the way somewhere along the way. So I can tell you that it's a whole other experience. Suddenly you're used to your whole life. You've done everything now. You've walked, you've danced, you've run, you've done everything. In fact, I don't already plan when you finish. Only for you to wake up one day and things are not working. And you're like, what's happening here? Believe me, it was hard. I struggled. It was I struggled for months. I couldn't leave the house for a whole year. I struggled for months. I was stuck indoors. But what the turnaround came when, like I said, I've said it here on this program, on Bold TV before, that it starts with what goes on in here. I had to come, no matter what anybody tells you, nobody can make that decision for you. I had to come to that point where I told myself, look, this has happened. It's either you walk with it and move on, or you're going to stay here and rot. So the minute I made up my mind and I said, I'm going to live, and I want to live as well as I can, that was the game changer. I changed my mind and I decided I wanted to go forward. I'm not going to kill myself about what has passed, what I can change. And so that was what helped me to take that step. And I was able to look, there has to be something ahead. This is just like a stop. This is a temporary delay. Like a tire, getting a flat tire. You need to fix the tire and keep going. And that was what changed things for me. And I was able to move on.
Wow, so inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. You see, these things, they are coming from different dimensions because we experience it in different areas. I can relate with Afion's story because it's the same for me. Things you were used to, you just find out that you can't do them again. So it takes you need to heal. You understand? It takes a long time, years, for you to heal. Yes. So thank you for sharing. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. What are some of the roles of adaptability in response to change? What roles does adaptability play in response to change? Faith, can you share with us what do you think are the roles?
I think the roles adaptability plays is enable an individual to move on, to grow. When I was sharing about how I grew up with disability, I will tell you what adaptability helped me was to move on from a particular stage of a change to another stage, because each time change is constant. From moving from one part of your life to another, something has changed, and then you have to adapt. And the role it plays that enable you move to the next stage of life. We've classified the stages of adaptability and changes here beautifully. But then I want to also add that even after special institution, getting a job, in the job you got is another stage entirely. Some of us who went into politics was another thing you needed to study from the beginning again. You were like, you thought you can fought everything all through, but then getting into politics was something that you need to get a whole book to study, but then you don't need it because you already made up your mind that adaptability is going to play a very crucial role in your life. You made up your mind that wherever the stage you got into, you are going to adapt, and you prepare your mind, whatever I meet, I am going to adapt, and I'm not going to let intimidation stop. So adaptability plays a role of enabling a person with disability move on in life, helping yourself, promoting yourself, giving you chances to, because as you move from this stage, another change is waiting for you. Do you know, some of us who are not married, we are waiting to adapt in marriage. Some of us with disability who have not had children, adaptability is going to play a very crucial role for you to adapt having a child, carrying it in one hand. So these things are still on a queue, waiting for us. So the role I think adaptability will play here is to help us learn new skills of living with disability and changes that occur constantly in our life with disability. So I think now that.
Yes, thank you so much. You mentioned two things. One is the fact that you had to upgrade. You had to leave your comfort zone. You have to grow. Then the second thing you mentioned, you said learning skills. For you to grow, for you to move from where you are to the next level, you need skills to empower yourself and to be better. Thank you for sharing. You really touched areas and it's really touching. Yes, but that's the truth. We are passing through these things from childhood to stage where we start talking of marriage, childbirth, and all that. Is really a concern. but with the right level of adaptability, knowing how to adapt to situations, your story can come out to become an inspiration to others in it. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Affion, can you help us mention some ways that PWDs can develop adaptability when situations change? Because like this thing meets us at different levels of our life. Someone may not be expecting, like me, I wasn't expecting, I was just working, working and so happily, beautifully going to the bank. And then a vehicle hit me from behind. I was not prepared for it, but I had to face it if I would survive. So what do you think are certain ways that PWDs can develop adaptability skills when situations change?
Okay, like I always say, the first step is acceptance. You cannot adjust to a situation you have not accepted, because you won't see the need to do anything differently. If you have not accepted it, you will not move on from where you are. It begins with acceptance. You have to begin by saying, this has happened. Acknowledge it. Painful as it may be, acknowledge it. This has happened. Like you said, disability is traumatic, regardless of when it happened or how it happened. It is traumatic for everyone, and everyone experiences it differently. So take your time. Sit down. Cry if you want to. Do whatever you need to do. Mourn because it is a loss. Mourn. It's not only when somebody dies that you do something. You mourn when disability is about loss. Whether it's the loss of a limb, the loss of an organ, the loss of whatever it is a loss. So mourn. Take time to grieve. Then when you're done, tell them this. It's like a crossroad. When you reach that junction, they say go to the left. Which one should I take? You now decide which way do you want to go. You decide you want to move forward. If you make the decision to move forward, then that is where adaptability comes. Adaptability is about having a solution mindset. That means you're not thinking of what is wrong. You're now thinking of how to move from change that challenge to see the opportunities in it, see the possibilities that are, ahead, because you're now looking forward. Let's leave the past glory, what has happened. I used to run, I used to jump, I used to do this. That has passed. You're now looking at what possibilities are there. So after acceptance, you now sit down. Adaptability means giving yourself options, and that involves getting knowledge. You accept it, then you get knowledge. What do I need? How can I get what I need? What's available to me? You get knowledge, get the resources. Find out what resources are available to you. And then from there, you can now move on. There are other steps like getting a support system, because nobody can do this journey alone. You need people. Get a good support system to help you move forward, amongst other things. But it begins with acceptance.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Faith. We appreciate your presence. Thank you. All right. So, Osaki, in one word, Faith, we're already rounding up. So in one word, can you tell us a word of encouragement for people with disability that are finding it difficult to, adapt to the situation, to the change that has, come upon them?
All right, thank you very much. What I would just say as an experience, take it step by step, one step at a time, one day at a time. Forget the heroes. They started small. So just think of the first step. After accepting, what can you do within your area? Just that first step that you will grow.
Baby steps that later become bold steps, bigger steps. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right, Faith. So just one more word before we call it an evening.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. Acceptance. Everybody's mentioning it. The mindset. When you get to a point where you feel like when you acquire disability and you feel like, okay, family, friends, everybody is against you. Nobody is against you. They are just in a talk. So what you do at this point is to make up your mind. It's not always easy. When I hear people say people with disability are aggressive, they are lazy, they are this, it takes the grace of God for you to move on in a particular situation. Yes. So what we can do, which we are doing, one of them here now, the encouragement. People who will listen to us, watch us out, they will be encouraged. So what you can do is to pick up your pieces and continue. Even in this same journey we are still on the way. We miss some situation, you feel like, God, at this point I've had it all. But then you still go back, you lie down. According to Miss Effiong, she said, cry if you can. And then we do all of this, you go back and then you say, Faith, I'm not going to sit back. I will continue. And that is the mindset we want to put in every woman with disability, people with disability at large, that pick up your pieces. You can feel sad, feel emotional, cry, but then got up and continue moving. Learn from people who have had disability, because one of the things I did was, I'm not the first person who had disability. There are people who have been in this journey, so I look up to them. Yeah. Today, Oge is just here. Oge is my junior in the disability. But then I'm learning from her, so this is all what you can do. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, all the speakers. It's been so amazing sharing minds with you all. The truth is that we are not what has happened to us. We are what we make of it, whether good or bad. Yes, we are what we make of it. So it's been an amazing session, sharing value with us all. And I believe our online viewers are getting a lot of value as well. And we appreciate you. And we are always open for your support in whatever way you can. Whether it is by sharing the post, liking it, reaching out to other people about what we're doing, or financial support to help us go further. We would appreciate. So Bold TV, this is where we're going to call it an evening. We're drawing our curtain here. So thank you for listening, and we thank all our amazing speakers for today, and also our guest, Faith Yasa. We appreciate you for attending, accepting our invite, and sharing value with us. To Afyong, we thank you. Osaki, thank you for being here. And Freki, thank you. To Tommy Sin and every other person, thank you so much, and do have a wonderful evening. Bye. Can we say bye to our audience? Okay, thank you.
This is Bold TV.